What's up guys, welcome back. This is Network Ninja here. Today we are going to see how to configure Alcatel Lucent Switch step by step. I have already powered on the switch. I am going to log into the switch using a serial console. If you haven't checked my video on how to console to a switch, I will leave the link in the description below and into the I button. Please check that video. Okay, the switch is on. I am going to log into the switch using default username and password admin switch. I will enter a command show system just to make sure that my switch doesn't have any configuration on it. As you can see, my switch has some old configuration on it. I will quickly factory reset the switch. If you haven't checked my video on how to factory reset a switch, I will link it in the I button. Please go and check that video. Okay, the switch is rebooted. I'm going to log back in. As you can see, all the configuration is gone. These are all the default settings that comes with the switch. Now we will start configuring the switch. To check the current configuration of the switch, you can enter command show system. Here you can see the system contact, system name, system location, etc. We will start with the system name. I'm going to name this switch as Network Ninja _lab_ switch. For system contact, I will name as Network Ninja. For system location, I will say switch closet. And I will also like to change my time zone. The command is system time zone and the time zone you want to configure on the switch. In this case, I'm gonna use EST. You can also manually set the time using command system time and the current time. Same for the system date, you can use command system date and today's date. Now we will make sure that the configuration we have made so far, we will double check that using command show system. As you can see, the switch has all the configuration we added so far. Next, we will check the VLAN information using command show VLAN. As you can see, VLAN 1 is the default VLAN which has no name. We will give it a name using command VLAN1 name data. And we will double check if the switch took that configuration using command show VLAN again. As you can see, now VLAN1 is showing name as data. We will also create a second VLAN as VLAN2 and we'll name it as voice VLAN. The command is VLAN2 enable voice. This will create another VLAN on the switch. To check the VLAN configuration again, we will type command show VLAN. As you can see, we have two VLANs on the switch right now. Let me open my reference doc, which I have put together before starting this video. As you can see, we have already covered first few item lines: system name, system location, system contact, system time zone. Now the next section we will do is the session timeout. This command will help with the ideal sessions to time out within the specified amount of time. In this case, I am gonna specify 15 minutes. So if any session that is ideal for 15 minutes, the switch will automatically close that session. Similarly, we're gonna do the same thing for HTTP session. Next, we will configure the default prompt. This is the prompt you will see when you log into the switch. In this case, I'm gonna name it as Network Ninja Lab Switch. Next, we will use command log enable. That's the command. This command will historically show all the commands we have entered into the switch. To check the historical commands, you just enter show command log and you can see all the commands you have entered so far. Next, we will do AAA authentication default. This command is important because when you configure an authentication and if you are using a local authentication on the switch, you will need this command, otherwise you won't be able to access to the switch from any other computer on the network. You will have to always use console connection to log into the switch. Next, I will configure a name server. In this case, I'm just gonna use Google name server, which is 8.8.8.8. We're configuring this so that the switch can do DNS resolution. Next, you have to do the IP domain lookup as well. These two commands go together, name server and domain lookup. Next, we configure the time server. In this case, again, I'm going to use Google time server. The command is ntp server time.google.com. And to enable it, you have to enter a command ntp client enable. We have manually entered the time previously, but if you enter this command and if you have internet access to the switch will automatically pull the time from your time server. Next, we will configure LLDP. This is Link Layer Discovery Protocol. It's an open standard protocol. It allows you to discover other devices on the network which supports LLDP. You can get information like system name, system description, the management IP address, VLAN information, etc. from LLDP. I'm just gonna copy paste this from my template doc. And if you want to find other devices on the network, you will enter command show LLDP remote system and it will list all the devices which supports LLDP on your network. Right now I don't have anything connected to my switch, that's why I am not able to see anything. But when you have other devices connected to the network, it will show you the information of those devices. Next, we will tag our VLAN 2 on all of our switch ports. To do so, we will enter command VLAN2 802.1q and all the port range where we need to tag this VLAN. So in this case, I'm gonna tag it on all the ports 1/1 to 26 because my switch has 26 ports. And if you wanna remove this VLAN tag, you can enter command VLAN with the VLAN ID. In this case, VLAN2 no and 802.1q and the port number you wanna remove the VLAN from. In this case, I'm going to remove it from port 1, so 1/1. And I'm going to enter a command show VLAN port 11. And you can see now the Q tagged VLAN 2 is gone. You can also put VLAN 2 as a default VLAN on port. To do so, use command VLAN 2 port default and the port number you want to default it on. In this case, I'm going to do it on port 1. So 1/1 and hit enter. To check the configuration, enter command show VLAN port 1/1. As you can see, now VLAN 2 is the default VLAN on port 1. Similarly, if you want, you can tag VLAN 1 on port 1/1 using the same command VLAN 1 802.1q 1/1. Similarly, you can remove that configuration as we did before. VLAN 1 no 802.1q 1/1. I'm gonna put it back the way it was. So VLAN 1 port default 1/1 so that VLAN 1 is the default VLAN on all my switch ports. Next, we will configure a management interface on our switch. To check the IP interface on a switch, use command show IP interfaces. As you can see, there are no IP interfaces configured on the switch. We will also check the routing table on the switch using command show IP route. And again, there are no routes configured on this switch. So let's go ahead and create an IP interface for VLAN 1. To do so, I'm gonna enter command IP interface, the name of the interface. In this case, I'm gonna use data. Then address, I will assign it an IP address of 192.168.100.1, mask 255.255.255.0, VLAN and the VLAN ID 1 because we are configuring this IP interface for VLAN 1. Hit enter. Let's check the configuration using command show IP interface. As you can see, we have successfully created an IP interface named data with the IP address we assigned to it for VLAN 1. The status of the interface is showing down as we don't have anything connected to the switch as of yet. Similarly, we will create another interface for VLAN 2 using the same command IP interface. This time I'm gonna name it voice. Address 192.168.200.1. The subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. VLAN 2 because VLAN 2 is the voice VLAN on my switch. To check the configuration, again we're gonna enter the same command show IP interface. As you can see, now we have two interfaces on our switch, data and voice, with the respective IP addresses we assigned to it. Next, we are going to add a default route to our switch. To do so, enter the command IP static route 0.0.0.0/0 gateway and the gateway of your network. In this case, I'm gonna use 192.168.100.254. To check the routing table on the switch, you can enter command show IP route. At this point, I am not able to see any configuration or any route in my routing table. This is because I don't have anything connected to my switch. So when you don't have anything connected to your switch, the routing table will look empty. So let's go ahead and connect the laptop to the switch. Okay, I have connected my laptop to the switch on port 1. Let's make sure we are seeing something connected to on port 1 using command show interface status. This will show you the status of all the interfaces on the switch. As you can see, on port 1/1, I have my laptop connected. We will also check the VLAN status on port 1. To do so, enter command show VLAN port 1/1. As you can see, we have VLAN 1 forwarding on port 1/1. Now let's go ahead and check the IP interface status. Enter command show IP interface. Now you can see the data interface status changed to up. This is because we have our laptop on VLAN 1 and VLAN 1 is in forwarding state. Let's go ahead and tag VLAN 2 on port 1 using command VLAN 2 802.1q 1/1, and we will check the status of VLAN on port 1 using command show VLAN port 1/1. Now we are seeing two VLAN in forwarding state, VLAN 1 which is our default VLAN and VLAN 2 which is the tag VLAN on port 1. Now let's go ahead and check the IP interface status again using command show IP interface. Now as you can see, both of our IP interfaces on the switch status is up. Now we'll go ahead and also check the routing table using command show IP route. As you can see, our both interfaces routes are showing in the routing table, and we are also seeing the default route we have added initially, which is 0.0.0.0 with a subnet mask of 0 and the gateway of 192.168.100.254. That's it. Now we'll go ahead and save the configuration on the switch. To do so, enter command show running directory. This will allow us to check the current status of the configuration. Is it certified, not certified, from which directory our switch is running from, etc. To save the configuration in working directory, enter command write memory flash synchro. This will save your configuration into the working directory and will also update your configuration into the certified directory. We'll double check if our configuration is successfully saved using the same command show running directory. As you can see, the configuration is successfully saved and also synchronize across these two directories. Let's go ahead and exit out of the switch and try to log back in. As you can see, now the session default prom is changed to the one we configured, Network Ninja Lab Switch. We'll make sure all the configuration we have made so far is already on the switch. Show system, show VLAN, show IP interface, show IP route, and also show running directory to make sure the configuration is saved and synchronized. You can change the default password of the switch using command password. Enter the old password, in this case it is switch, and enter the new password as per your need. I'm going to change it to something unique. Re-enter the same password to change the password, and make sure you save this configuration again with the same command write memory flash synchro. That's it. This was really a basic configuration of Alcatel Lucent Switch, where we covered how to create a VLAN, how to change the name on the switch, how to update the contact information, how to create IP interfaces, how to create and add a static route, etc. If you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.